Hello race fans and welcome to the JACKOCAR Kia Series Season 2 Round 4 for the French Grand Prix. I am your commentator Peter Knight, and joined with me once again is the interesting Sullivan Lewis. Welcome.
Thanks for throwing my favourite word at me already.
Yeah, has to be done.
What a day, what an evening. So,
And what a race this could be.
indeed it could. France for these drivers. A lot of these drivers already complaining they don't like France. So, let's just see. Let's just see where this one goes.
Yeah, this is some of these drivers. This is their second time in about 4 or 5 days that they've had to do France.
Yeah, if that was me, I would not be happy.
No. We're expecting a full grid, yes?
Yeah, we are indeed expecting a full grid.
Okay, so we're waiting on 3. We'll run through the driver standings after last week's British Grand Prix. Surprising to us and everyone, maybe to himself as well, Gareth Hall leads the championship after securing the Joker win last week in Britain. He leads Jamie Bromley, who is on 45 points. He has succeeded 3 consecutive second places this season so far. The most consistent driver on the grid, but the only one who we're expecting to get a win yet to get one. He is not confirmed through the playoffs, but if he keeps this record going, he should secure the playoff positions even without a win. He's 30 points clear of the drop with 4 or 5 rounds to go.
Yeah, he drove a good race last time out, so I think he's gonna hopefully be looking for that top spot, top 3 again. So
yeah,
good result for him.
Next in the 40s as well, 41 points for Jake Warrior, another race winner, advanced to the playoffs with his win in Japan, first round of this season. Chris Morris is the next leading driver on points, yet to get a victory. I believe he's got a podium or 2. He's on 39, ahead of Danny Quinn, who's on 36. Next in the championship order essentially is Connor, after winning in Monaco, Joker strategy to perfection. He's advanced to the playoffs but sits quite far down in the championship order. That will be very key when it comes to the playoff situation. Behind him, 1 point behind him, is Barry Baldwin, which is ahead of the Dutchman Niels and Yuri, 8th and 9th, and Jess is inside the top 10 in the playoffs on 16 points. She's 1 point ahead of Matt Tree, indecisive, who's on 15. Isaac, also known as Kingen or Kingjan, on 11 points, and then Kamababa on 10, Waze on 9, Andy Lincoln Magic Poop Cannon on 8th. Billy Watts only on 4 after leading a lot of the British Grand Prix on the Joker strategy. Broke the rules on the safety car restart, incurred a 30-second time penalty, and didn't score many points. Kyle Langston's on 3, and there's 3 drivers yet to score points, which are Matt Rosemond, Speed Garden, Liam New, Evil Dragon, and Noah Clark, VSR Clark. Noah Clark not getting off to a great start of the season. I think he's at least 2 out of the 3 races have been DNFs. Actually, all of them must have been DNFs, because you don't score points even if you DNF.
Yeah, exactly. To score points, you have to finish. So, if you haven't scored points, you've not had a good run of races.
No. Oh, in terms of constructors, Turtle Legs extend their lead, and one of the teams yet to get a victory. The Four Tops are still second on 78 with 1 win. Squadra Viola have overtaken Dumpf onto 66. Dumpf in 4th on 64, and Gemdrick Motorsports on 48.
So championship is all still to play for. We are only at round 4, so still lots to play for as we are getting ourselves into qualifying around the circuit Paul Ricard. It's a 5.8 kilometre track, 9 corners to the right, 6 corners to the left, and 15 altogether. 27 laps around this circuit, 2 DRS zones, and it's a mandatory 2-stop race, apart from our one Joker driver, which I believe is Cloud Mozza.
Yes, Cloud Mozza is the one and only Joker. I spoke to him in the Twitter DMs before the race, giving him the best of luck for the strategy. I'm not going to blurt it out on stream. Well, maybe I will, but you'll see on track what tyres he decides to choose.
Ooh, interesting then.
Wet ones. It's going to rain. maybe
It
it
does.
will. No pressure at all, Claire. No pressure at all. Yeah, I believe there's 4 rounds left until the playoffs, which include Italy, Canada, Baku and Belgium. You've got 4 rounds of the playoffs, which are Brazil, Singapore, Bahrain and Austria. And then, with Austria being the final round of the playoffs, Mexico, which I believe is being changed to Portimao, is Championship 5.
Yes. Now that is a track I can't wait for. Just the drivers themselves are going to, I think, without the practicing, will struggle a little bit around there as well for racing, so got to get their practice in early as we see Clark out on track.
First one. He's got
Indeed, he
grey,
is.
purple. They do, but if some of their races were wet, then you never know. And plus, this is simulation damage. You can't pit on the safety car, can pit on the VSC. Different safety car restarts together as he's about to start his lap. Take us through it, Risky.
So then down the start finish straight, watch the pit lane on your right. Through turn 1 and 2 is just a fast left-hander switches. Turn 2 for the right-hander now. Don't want to take too much curb and invalidate your lap as you head down towards turn 3. You've got to stay nice and tight on this right-hand side, because then you've got to flick it left and follow it all the way around. Follow it left and then hit the apex on the right. And then you've got to power down. Now this is nearly flat. Little lift maybe in the middle as you flick around turn 7 here. Then it's flat all the way down. DRS open just now, and then we go all the way towards turn 8 and 9, which is probably going to be one of the biggest overtaking zones of today. Heavy braking zone then as you flick it in left, over the curb a little bit, keep it nice and on track. Take as much of this exit curve as possible without invalidating, and then just clip the one on the left as you now go all the way down to turn 10, which is a flat right-hander. Well, it should be at least in qualifying. Nice and tight there. Just let the car drift out wide. Don't want to be too rigid. And then turn 11 is a long right-hander. Got to go all the way around. Nice and tight. Nice apex there as well as we hit turn 12, which is long left. Just about gets the apex there. So again, lovely from Clark as we come now all the way around 13. 14 is the long left-hander. There's the pit lane on our right-hand side. Just clip that late apex, turn it in for 15 and foot down as early as possible. DRS, and then the line is just at the other end of the straight, so we'll get to the line now. So 31.559, so not a bad lap, and we see Bill in the pit lane. So that's how close the pit lane is around this track, and I believe it's Evil Dragon next on his lap.
Yeah, Evil Dragon just coming towards turn 4. Turn 1 and 2 really is crucial for the start of your lap. Such a flowing section of corners that you can lose and find 3 or 4 tenths, depending on how you take it. And then that exit is all crucial down to this for the end of the sector 1. Hopefully, as I try and find my volume button. Evil Dragon keeps it valid. Has he got a little bit of traffic up ahead, I think? Risky.
What did you say? Sorry, say that again.
He's got a bit of traffic up ahead as Evil Dragon.
He does. It is Clark, I believe, so Clark should get out of his way.
He's very low on EOS as Evil Dragon. He might not forgot to turn it off hot lap on his out lap. He's very low on EOS, so this is not going to be beneficial for the final sector. 31.5 is his target to beat, as you can see there. Clearly, Cloud has selected mediums as his optimal strategy. He wants to stay clear of the softs, whereas these two stoppers get on the softs early, get them off early, and mediums to the end. You shouldn't really need to touch the hards unless you have to.
Up to the
Second
line for Evil
place.
Dragon. Yeah, 31.8, so not too far behind Clark, so not a bad lap from Evil himself. And we see now Bill is our next one, who is only just going through turn 1, so this is like, we'll get a lap on board with everyone, hopefully. Yeah, maybe at the end of this session we'll start cutting a few people off, but such a quick track and a quick lap, even though it doesn't feel like it. It's very nice and flowing.
It feels like it when you watch someone drive around it, because you're on board with them. Mazda on pole or Kia series won't exist after this season. What do you mean? That's putting some pressure on Baza. Is that because he got pole in DGP too, or is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
Is it? Oh. No, I didn't know whether they'd
I
already
think.
done Fance in TGP2. I know they've done Portimao. Oh yeah, they did do Fance because Jacko won and then spun on the line in the start line, the grid line, start of the race.
Nice.
So yeah. This was last week's pole sitter. He was on the Joker, was Bill, and looking to keep form on starting towards the start of the grid, the front of the grid, and the final corner. The EOS open, keeping the EOS management under control. To the line, it's a 32 dead. But everyone so far who's set a time has kept it valid. Magic Poop Cannon is coming to the final sector. See, it all depends on when people come out the pit. It's how quick they do their outlap is when how much of each person's lap we see. Magic Poop Cannon 31.5 is time to beat, and he beats it by a tenth. 31.4 for Magic Poop Cannon.
That's a bit of a better lap from Magic Poop Cannon. He's not had the best of qualifying sessions the past few weeks, but nice from him. As Kamabara has invalidated his turn 1 and 2, so
He
that's
didn't.
him out of... He did?
He did not, because I was on board with him as he entered. He invalidated before turn 1 and 2.
Oh,
He
that's
invalidated
impressive.
this and next lap. So obviously, compulsory, you have to finish the lap, even though it is invalid. You have to cross the line. If you enter the pit lane without finishing your lap, you will be penalised. The camera rather should go around the whole lap, but we'll get a whole lap of indecisive. Currently 1 point away from the playoffs, so we'll be looking to score a lot of points and beat his rivals. Oh, that's a corner cut, but it keeps it apparently within the white lines. It can be quite tricky to keep it within the white lines to try and maximise corner speeds and exits. Especially here, you want to run wide, but you got to be very cautious on the power. Purple moves, purple first. We'll see it. It could be. I should be hoping the drivers at the tail end of this qualifying session should be breaking into the 1 minute 30s.
Yeah, you'd like to think that's kind of where it's going to be, down in the low 31s and high 30s, maybe even a low 30 from the likes of maybe Quinn or Splinter, someone who's got that little bit of extra 1 lap pace. So be nice to see where they end up towards the end of this session.
Yeah, well, anything's better for Quinn after last week's qualifying performance, considering he invalidated it being one of the faster drivers. Is he fast round here? He was fast in points. Where does Indecisive go as he crosses the line? The slowest of the time set, but it is a valid time set. Camarada didn't set a time, and only one of the drivers yet to set one. Jess is on her lap next, scraping inside the top 10 as we speak, but could outperform a lot of drivers if she keeps it on track. Late safety cars, track limit penalties, keeping it on track, and getting a late safety car could really benefit drivers who some say they haven't got the pace to match the drivers winning races.
Yeah, it's going to be... I think the later we get in this qualifying, obviously we're going to see faster times. I think Jess did an exceptional job on her Joker, which was her Joker last week or the week before?
Silverstone, yeah.
Was last week, so that's I think she'll be hoping for another decent points, high points position, because you get points for even finishing. So we have a yellow flag. I think that's Indecisive just going straight on. So nothing too major there.
He needs to be careful. Well, that's not him. Yuri's got a bit of traffic. Gets out of the way comfortably. Yuri currently sat at the back, as per when you invalidate, with the highest race number of the grid. Keeping it between the white lines so far. I don't want to really touch that inside curb because that can really lose grip on the front end and send your rear spinning. Should keep it between the white lines in this final sector. Last corner can be tricky. He gets on the power nice and early. DRS open. Anywhere between a 31.4 and a 32.5. And it's the quickest of everyone by a whole second. He always brought the pace. And it's a 30.4. Where has that come from? He's been practicing. He said he was only doing a lap yesterday. I think he's putting a little bit more time.
Yeah. I think he likes his track. I think secretly he slates this track, but in his head he doesn't mind it. So good lap for him, and let's see if he's got that pace. Because Neil's only did a 1:30.8, so Neil's even still faster there. So like we both said, it's gonna get quicker towards the end of this session.
Yeah, I missed Neil's. I think it's Bazza ahead of Connor. Connor's coming through to the straight. Bazza's ahead. So these guys are actually incredibly close on track, even though they're going to be finishing their laps nearly enough at the same time. One's at the start of the straight and one's at the end. Normally there's a gap's a little bit bigger. Hopefully the Bazza or Cloud didn't either jump the gun or leave too late. Bazza's got Yuri ahead of him, I think, so Yuri should get out of the way. He does. That turn 11's a very tricky corner, because it's a bit like turn 1 at China. Long right hander where you just have to flip the gears down, gradually brake. And it's a late apex.
Yeah.
Bazza in the Brawn. 134 to beat. 130.4 to beat, should I say. Up to the line. It's going to be in the 31s. 31.4. Slots himself on the second row. And was only 46 hundredths away from toppling Magic Poop Cameron, who was originally on provisional pole. Connor slots himself between Niels and Yuri, so it's not going to be a Dutch front row, but it could be a Dutch on the front row at least.
I think that is a really good gap for Yuri. Connor, we know Connor has some pace. Connor still a 10th behind, so
exactly
we are now going to have to see. Yeah, exactly, 10th behind. So now looking to see Quinn, Cloud obviously on the medium, so Quinn will be the next challenger for Yuri on that top spot. Can that one speed driver knock another one off? Maybe make it a speed one too. Speed front row would be nice.
It would. Quinn's always bigging it up with his pace in time trial, but can sometimes bottle it on the track. Will he secure pole position another time? He does, and he's in the 29s, half a second quicker than Yuri, but it is a speed 1-2 at the moment.
Good lap. Very good lap.
Next is Cloud. He is our Joker and is on the mediums. Not a lot of drivers have invalidated lap times, just 1 out of 12. He needs to get himself inside that top 10 to make this one-stop medium strategy work. and will probably pray for very either minimal safety cars or no safety cars at all. They've just got to be timed perfectly for Cloud, because he's going to have a pole pit stop ahead of these guys, and that's about 24 seconds. We're looking at about 125 on exit, straightened up. He's getting into that 131s, maybe a 132. 31.5. That's 8th, and there are 4 drivers that can potentially beat him. Actually, no, 3, because Speed Newgarden hasn't left the bits, missed his time slot. So only 3 drivers can beat him, so he can possibly start outside the top 10. Jake is next to stop this, and could potentially easily do it with the pace that Jake has shown so far as a rookie this season. He's a rookie.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah, he is. Jake came into the season not hoping for, obviously hoping for good positions, but probably not expect him to be in such a place that he's in. So he's in the playoffs with that win, obviously, and a podium as well to a good measure, which is why he's so far down the order. Towards the line, he goes 4th, so 30.6, so another good lap from Jake. So these lap times towards the front are getting a lot closer as we now look to Splinter, I believe.
Yes. Mr. Consistent so far starts near the front. I think he's been on pole position quite a few times as well, but yet to get that race victory here this season. 3 second places on the board, sits second in the standings, comfortably inside the playoffs. All he's missing off that checklist is a race win, really, and to secure that spot in the playoffs.
He's king of second places, is Mr. Splinter. Where will he put it now? Comes on the final corner, flat to the floor.
This could be good. This is going to be a 130, I feel. It's a 29.7. Whoa! Oh, hello! There's the pace. Gareth on mediums as well, so even though he's not on Joker, he's going to get a medium set out the way. Maybe go medium soft to be on the fast type at the end, but it can be crucial that safety cars play your way when you're doing that kind of strategy. Cloud, unless this time is beaten, will start inside the top 10. Gareth can stop that. He's not going to qualify. He's going to be just ahead of Camababo and Newgarden, and will start 15th.
That was Cloud like a good lap for Gareth.
I think his engineer's watching again and telling Gareth that Cloud's 10th on the mediums. Don't knock him out because he'll get fresh mediums. Force him onto mediums that he started on. So
maybe has a very, very high potential.
Gives Gareth fresh mediums. However, you've got a lot of traffic, mate.
He has indeed.
Sometimes track position is the best way. So there's our qualifying. Splinter takes pole position once again. And can he finally secure that win? He lines up the front row with Speed Quinn, who knocks his Speed teammate off the front row. Speed Y Racer's highest qualifying position, I think, for a while, is 3rd. Connor's in 4th. Jake in 5th. Other Dutch driver of Niels in 6th. Then it's Magic Poop Cannon, Bazza, Clark and Mozza start inside the top 10. Evil Dragon, Bill, Indecisive, Jess, Gareth all starting on fresh tyres, having set times. Camababa and Newgarden both failed to set a time, also on fresh tyres. Crucially, Cloud is on mediums inside the top 10. 4,000s, by the way, from one position ahead. 4,000s away from P9.
So as we get into this race, the clouds have darkened, but we know it's dry. Cloud said in the stream chat it's dry, so as much as we'd enjoy a bit of a wet race, I think dry all the way will definitely help Cloud strategy-wise. I think we're going to have some fighting at the front, some fighting at the back, and I think we're quite likely to see a safety car. So just stick around for this one, because every time I seem to commentate, every Tuesday it seems to get exciting on the last few laps.
Yeah, always leave the best race until last. It is very dark and gloomy. This is going to affect track temperature and the tyre temperature management. Drivers starting on the mediums are going to take a lot more time to get the heat in. on the formation lap. Those soft runners are going to be on. Top 10 is going to be unused. I'm sure everyone outside the top 10 will be on softs to get them out of the way quickly. I'm sure Gareth might even go on mediums, considering that's what he wanted to qualify in the first place. Right, let's get everything back up again.
Now, Wace has a race ban, correct? Because he's sat on the grid.
Oh, I think he's just in the lobby. He's going to get disqualified anyway. There you go.
He will, so he will just get instantly disqualified for. Okay, that's fair enough. But that's an interesting one.
Yeah, tyres are interesting as well. Evil Dragon, Gareth, and Newgarden on the mediums. Bill, Indecisive Jess, and Kamababa on the softs, going aggressive. Getting the softs off early would be very beneficial. Gareth, no shock there, starting on fresh mediums. However, we'll have to go on to those older mediums for your second stint. That's how the game works. You use those tyres in qualifying, they're your tyres for the race. If you want to start on mediums, you really want to get in outside that top 10, so you've got no risk of running on older tyres at the end. There's your two stop, soft, medium, and soft, medium. Early stop on the first softs to get those mediums on. I'd say about lap 4, lap 5. Then that'd leave you 22 laps, 11 laps on each medium. That should be sufficient enough. Cloud will be looking to stretch to lap 11, 12, and then go on the hard tyre for 15, 16 laps. But we've got to keep it clean into turn 1. It's not a make or break.
It's not warm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially in JACKOCAR. Oh boy. Splinter was leading into turn 1 in Britain. Didn't win the race. Bill got pole position. No, Splinter got pole position. Bill was on the front row. Led the race for quite a lot of it. Still didn't win the race. So anything's possible.
We now just have to see, because this is we know this is a track that it's got a good overtaking potential, and we also know that this track can catch a few drivers out on the curves, as we've seen in previous races in previous leagues. So this is going to be an interesting one. We know loads about France. Let's see if these drivers know loads about France, as Newgarden pulls into his grid slot now. I shall hand over back to you for your famous commentary introduction.
Famous? I've only been doing it 3 races, mate. Come on. Alright then, we're waiting for the 5 red lights. Can we get a driver near the front? We can. Splinter on the right, Quinn on the left. It's boogity. Let's go racing! Decent launch from the 2 drivers on the front row of the grid, but Quinn will lead, and Splinter might get mugged off into turn 1. He's got 2 on his right hand side. Quinn leads from Connor now, gets the move on Splinter, dropping like a fly. Splinter. Yuri holds position in 4th and trying to make a move on the inside of Splinter towards turn 4. Niels is in 5th. Jake's swapped positions with Niels. Jake down to 6th. I don't think there's been much drama, although Cloud has dropped a few positions. Hopefully no damage. There's Waze's disqualification. I believe now he's served his race ban. There's your tyre strategy for Cloud. Medium to hards. But he didn't get a very good exit onto this very long straight. This is where we're going to see most overtakes. And Cloud doesn't seem to have the straight line speed compared to Kamababa. Kamababa to the inside. And should make it look easy. But Cloud better under the brakes. And holds on to the position. Maybe realise you're not going to fight him. But then again, the more soft runners you have behind you, the better it's going to be by Bazza, who's on those soft tyres. Oh, we've had a spinner.
Oh, it's Clark.
That is Clark.
It's Clark round.
Oh, does he come? Oh, that was close. Close to Newgarden. He should have a little bit of clear air. Got Jess, who's had a poor start, down in 17th. With a few more positions, switching through the grid. Great start from Quinn, already over a second ahead, and showing his pace once again here at France, as he did in One Hub on Friday.
Yes, we did see Splinter dive straight into the pits for that an early stop. I don't know if we were expecting to see in this early. It could be for some wing damage.
Could work.
See if he changes weight. Nope, just onto the medium. So yeah. Could we go medium? Clark follows suit, but obviously he's got wing damage, and now penalty for good measure. So it's Quinn out in the lead of this race. Connor 1.3 behind. Then comes Yuri, who stayed in 3rd. Neil's 4th, Jake 5th, and that's another spinner of Indecisive at turn 2. Yeah, so exit at turn 2, so he's gone round on exit. So anyway, we go back to the leaders then and see Neil's behind Yuri is closest to battle on track at the minute, gaining, but with no DRS, not gaining enough. Look to Cloud, who looks to potentially be making a move on Bazza, but thinks better of it this time. DRS not being enabled for another lap will probably be the reason we don't see as many overtakes just yet, as Bill picks up that 3-second time penalty there. So 3-second time penalty this early on, probably not the best, but now he's got a clean slate to not get any more, I suppose.
Yeah, if you get two track limit warnings early on, you're on edge for the rest of the Grand Prix, trying not to get that warning. And then when you eventually do, you can relax a little because you get 3 more. But when you start pushing limits, you're going to get punished for it, as Bill is the first victim to that. VSR Clark pushed his limits into the pits and got a 5-second penalty for speeding, which he will serve in his second stop. Yuri needs to pick up the pace a little. He's starting to form a train. It was Connor's train, but the pace difference between Connor and Yuri started to show, and the gap's over a second as DRS gets enabled. This is going to be beneficial for Niels. Jake, if he can stay within that 1 second. Magic Poop Cannon's trying to hold on as well, but slowly falling away. Could get Evil Dragon on his tail as long as Bill, Bazza, Cloud's in there, and Camo Babbo. Gareth's had a good start from the back on those mediums, but it's going to be a long way for him before he makes his first pit stop out of the 2.
Yeah, this is so lap 3 now. This is where we're going to have DRS start coming into play for these guys. This Evil Dragon's going to move to the left hand side. He's going to get this move done before braking on Magic Poop Cannon. So nicely done from Evil Dragon there. Cloud gets past Bazza on his medium. So Cloud making a position now up to 9th. He's got Bill, Magic Poop Cannon and Evil Dragon all fighting ahead of him. So hopefully he can, well, for his sake, get onto the back of those as we have another yellow flag. That's for VSR Clark on the exit of turn 2. Seeing a few people come a cropper there as...
Oh, big accident, big accident.
Yeah.
Magic Poop Cannon's gone as well.
And Cloud.
I was on board with Camo Babbo because it was making a move on Bazza, and up ahead there was just carnage. Cars had spun. Not sure whether it was Cloud who collected Poop Cannon or Poop Cannon collected Cloud. Both of them are out, and we have a full caution safety car. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the best opportunity now for Splinter and Clark, essentially. As long as he doesn't get lapped, he should be fine. Splinter and Clark both already making their first pit stops. No Joker now, as Cloud is retired. It's every man for themselves. And this is going to hurt Quinn a little bit, because he did manage to keep that 1 second gap ahead of Connor comfortably.
Yeah, just trying to think of what happened. Obviously, I wasn't on board. I was too busy looking a little bit further down the field. But both cars getting absolutely speared off into the wall and then spun round. I wonder if it was just side by side and then one takes the other. But I'm sure we'll find out in the stewards afterwards. I'm sure there'll be some slightly angry drivers under the helmets of those 2 cars. But first safety car of the race on lap 4 of 27. The order is as follows. So Quinn, from Connor, from Yuri, then comes Niels, Jake, Evil Dragon, Bill, Kamababo Bazza, Gareth, Newgarden, Jess up into 12th, which is slowly getting towards that top 10, which is where she'd aim to be. Indecisive 13th, then Splinter and Clark out of our pitters, who are probably the best, the winners, I'd say, out of this one, out of this safety car. So early on, they've made their stop, so they've essentially got a safety car on a pit stop, on the rest, and this safety car has benefited them massively. Just Clark needs to now make sure he catches up in time. Yeah,
it has benefited them. However, there is going to be a lot of traffic, for example, between where Splinter was or where Splinter is now. There's a good chunk of cars and a good chunk of time between himself and Quinn. That's where his target really is. Quinn now has to be cautious as people are hitting each other. Jake and Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon, funnily enough, running into the back of Jake and not getting a 5-second stop-go penalty. Jake will serve his, and that therefore will not get removed. Oh, so Magic Poop Cannon claims fault after losing the rear end through turn 10. Slides back across the track. Nothing Cloud or Magic Poop Cannon could do, and ended both of their races.
Yeah, so that's just an unfortunate racing incident. If Poop Cannons took blame and Cloud's obviously nothing Cloud can do, unfortunate as it is. Yeah, that's just going to be the way the cookie crumbles in this one. So very unfortunate for them both.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Fortunate for them both, but there's a long time left in this season.
Yeah, you're quite right. There's 4. Nice voice break. There's 4. There's 4 regular season rounds left, 4 playoffs, and then obviously Championship 5. Even if you don't make the playoffs, you're not out of the Championship. You'll have those 4 playoff rounds to race and score as many points as possible, and whoever's leading out of those 10 drivers come the Championship 5 race will be in that race. As the top 4 in the playoffs go through, you will be that wild card essentially, and could be one of the favourites, or because you'll be on form if you've succeeded as chase champion. Bring that form forward for the Championship 5 race. Safety car in this lap.
Yeah, so this is now the important time for those on softs. Maybe try and pull away from Evil Dragon the 6th. Don't really want to be doing too much fighting. Maybe we'll see a few come into the pits after that first green lap. So who knows? It's all down to Speed Quinn though now to control the pace, make sure he gets the safety car restart done, which is at the safety car, the start finish line or 2 grid spaces behind.
I don't think there's any good spaces behind the start finish line, so I would just go on the start finish line. I have noticeably noticed that I haven't seen the Mercedes safety car for a while. Maybe it's because of the tracks I've decided to commentate on. Have all been very similar and raced around. Have all been the Aston Martin. So Quinn leaving the field. Safety car's in. We're going to get underway. You all will know when Quinn goes because they're in a party together, and so will Speed Newgarden.
Yeah, keep my eye on Newgarden.
Is gone. Nearly messy off the start, but he will hold the lead into turn 1. No position changes except for Niels and Jake going side by side. Bill has got through on Evil Dragon as the driver goes wide. Evil Dragon now up through on Jake after losing positions, now gaining side by side between the two. Very close between Jake and Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon going to be on the fresher tyres now because those softs are a bit, even though they've had safety car laps, they're going to be incredibly worn after qualifying on them as well. Baz is making moves on Bill. Bill not getting the tyres into temperature and holding on just about for P7. Gareth on Newgarden as they go side by side. Newgarden just ahead and has that straight line speed. Will Gareth go up the inside? It's going to be close. Both on the same strategy. Newgarden holds on to the top 10 position. Indecisive is going to have to think strategically. Same with Jess now, being towards the back on those tyres. Splinter is being attacked from VSR Clark behind. I think VSR Clark will now finally complete a green flag running lap without spinning in this French Grand Prix. No offence. I heard that giggle.
Connor then pits from P2, so going to try and get the undercut on the 2 speed guys. 2 speed guys at the front stay out as a few others pit. The likes of Baza, Baza, Camabavo and Bill, I think, have all pit, along with now Jess. So that will be their first stop out of the way. But let's see then if the 2 speed guys can pull that gap. We know Quinn and Yuri have pace, and just see, because we know the undercut's powerful.
Oh, yellow flag, Clark.
You had to jinx him, didn't you, Pete? He did a lap of clean running, and then Brandy goes.
He got the
again.
lap in.
But Neil's right on the back of Yuri on exit. Yuri getting a big slide as well. So we'll see Niels come for a move. DRS not open, obviously. Just come out of the safety car around the outside. Can't make it stick there. Will he be able to get a good exit out of here? Picks up a time penalty for good measure, so that's probably not what he wanted to do, but he's going to get the run. ERS deployed. He's going to go down the inside of the fast right-hander.
You're always squeezing him.
He could make this, yeah, Yuri did give him a bit of squeeze, but they both stay on track, which they do. Yeah, side by side. Niels and Yuri. Yuri's going to come ahead in the lead, is he? Because again, as Newgarden's retired in the background, Niels and Yuri are still fighting side by side around the outside, and it's another safety car.
A bit of argy-bargy at the end of that sequence of corners between the two of them. I've kept it nice and clean for the fast-flowing corners. Yeah, Newgarden has crashed. Where is
coming
that?
Out turn 10.
Turn 10.
So the fast right-hander of turn 10, I'm assuming he's got out on the left-hand side a little bit and then spun right in and hit the internal wall, because unless he's made contact with someone, that's kind of the only logical explanation. But what this is good for
everyone
is
who pit.
The pitters.
Every single person who pitted, technically. Splinter. Indecisive didn't pit. No, I don't think he did. Clark, even though he spun. Connor, Bazza, Kamababo, Bill, and Jess. Why are Jake and Niels overtaking each other? Stop doing that. Yes. Yes. Yes, Newgarden. I won't say it on stream, but in an Arnie voice. The F word, Sully, is what Matt's put in the chat. Yeah. Quinn now looking like a mug, not pitting after one green flag. But then again, if the tyres are still there, why would you? You don't expect a safety car. You'd expect drivers to keep it on track and keep it nice and clean. Sometimes there's an unfortunate error, but more than not, you get more green flag running laps than you don't normally. You should.
Yeah, exactly. That is the case usually.
Yeah, so Splinter's going to be happy because not only has he got a smaller margin to the leader now, he's on one lap fresher tyres, but can go longer and the pit stop ahead of every single person ahead of him. It's not really going to help Evil Dragons and Gareth's race. However, maybe a switch to a two-stop soft stint could work for both of them, because these safety car laps are going to help, but you realistically need another safety car after you've made that first pit stop. As soon as you come into the pits, basically the safety car needs to come out.
Yeah, I think big winners, like you say, are those ones that have pit. Splinter pitting super early basically puts him on an ideal strategy, and with everyone caught up, I think it's gonna be close. I think we'll do one more lap and then away we go again. See what the two speed drivers do out the front, because they're going to be communicating well. So these two are going to know exactly when to go. Maybe catch Niels out behind, or maybe Niels will know when to go and catch one another, I suppose. But the top four all on softs as well as indecisive. Evil Dragon and Gareth started on their medium tyres, along with... Oh, no, that was just those that started on the medium, sorry. Everybody else has pit. So Splinter, Clark, Connor, Kamababo, Bazza, Bill and Jess have all made their first of the two mandatory stops. So, lap 9, 27, a third of the way in the race, and we have our second safety car. This is slowly starting to play into Splinter's hands. Not won a race yet. He's come second a couple of times, and he's got up going from pole to P2, but maybe this time we can go pole to a win. We'll just have to wait and see. We know at the start of the race he didn't get the best start that he could have had, which is why Quinn is now currently your leader. But Splinter playing the strategical game, pitting early, undercut, and then obviously the safety car where you can't pit. So maybe Splinter will take a win tonight.
Could work, could happen. It's in Splinter's hands, as he's got a car behind him separating from the fast chasing pack, who are all on fresh tyres. Safety car in this lap. Quinn and Yuri will be tag team terrors and getting this safety car restart perfect. Both should be clear into turn 1. It's going to be Niels who we're going to have to watch out for being mugged off by Jake. It's eyes on the leader. It's not about when the guy in front of you goes, it's all about when the leader goes. And if the leader goes on start finish line, leader goes, you go. Even if you're near the final corner, you can still go. I think he got the first one off to a good start. It was nearly caught Connor out. Connor tried to jump it. What can Quinn do now? He's doing the Raikkonen technique of just driving slowly down the straight.
Oops,
No weaving at the tyres. Oh, this field's getting really bunched up and we're underway for green flag running. This is going to help both Yuri and Quinn into turn 1. They're both going to be safe and sound. Gareth's got Evil Dragon into turn 1. Jake's side by side with Splinter. Splinter's got to be careful not to get any damage on these drivers who are yet to pit. So far, I think every driver that was ahead of Splinter stayed ahead of Splinter. Evil Dragon now behind Jake.
Having to cut the corner, trying to go around the outside. Yeah, we'll get a penalty for that, but getting probably forced off the road a little bit there by Jake and Clark, who are just having their own battle, as the front four looking nice and spaced out. Kind of interrupts you a little bit there, but
it's fine.
Is this going to be a move for Clark down the inside? I think it will be. Gets it done nicely, and then are we going to see Evil Dragon having a look? These two still battling side by side, Jake and Clark. Clark going to come away with the better exit, and now that's going to allow Evil Dragon around the outside of one driver, and then down the inside of another. Just a double overtake before he's even hit the corner for Evil Dragon, who'll be saying thank you very much and yes please to that one. So now we have Clark coming back at Jake with Splinter just behind them. Kondo as well, I think he just got past Bazza, or at least stayed ahead of Bazza. As then down the inside goes Clark. That was never going to make it. Whoa, that was close. We saw Splinter now going to come down the inside of Clark.
Oh, bit of wall banging between the two of them, it looked like. Splinter not very happy with Clark losing it on the apex, as Clark now gets another 3-second time penalty. As everyone who were on soft tyres sensibly have pit. I would have done exactly the same. Don't want to risk any more safety cars, especially with these guys going side by side. Clark again, and Connor now ahead of Clark. I was going to, excuse me, sorry about that. I was going to commend Clark for such a good restart, but now he's dropped down behind Splinter and Connor.
The reason that...
Sorry.
The reason Jake and Bill are now so far back as well is both drivers had to stack behind the other drivers. So I think Yuri and Jake might have been teammates, and Bill had to stack behind somebody else. So these two are now right the way down, along with Indecisive as well. So a bit of stacking in the pit lane really hasn't helped.
No, it's all a gamble really when you pit as well. If you say you're in first place and second place, you're pretty much guaranteed to get your pit stall. If you're first and second with your teammate and you didn't know you were first and second with your teammate, that's just tough luck. But first and second should easily be able to get a pit stop cleanly without being held up, unless the pit box ahead of you has a double stacked car. That could be really crucial.
Yeah, it can indeed. It's a strategical game as much as a guessing game, I suppose, when it comes to your teammate in the pits.
Quinn's now got a lot of free air. Splinter's got a little bit of traffic, as Gareth and Evil Dragon now both pit, saying that.
So they make their first stops.
I don't know, Jacko. I barely could find any myself.
So Splinter now leads, as we expected from Connor, who has fresher tyres. So Connor and Splinter are essentially, well, they are the fight for the lead now, with Quinn and Yuri, who were our top two, are now down in 7th and 8th. So they've got a bit of work to do if they want to get themselves back up here. Maybe an earlier pit stop and then hope for another safety car. But Connor's going to have a run on Splinter, I think, down towards the chicane. He's going to open his DRS now, and this is going to just push him right the way to the back, down the inside, left-hand side. Going to get the move done before the braking zone Splinter not fighting it because the tyre difference is immense.
And Connor has a
Obviously,
penalty.
And yeah, Connor. Yeah, that's very true as well. Knowing Connor has that penalty, Splinter can kind of just stick with him for a little bit, and then when they've got the fresher tyres, they've got equal tyres. Then maybe he'll fight it a bit more.
Staying with him in this final sector is really crucial, because then you get DRS on the start finish straight, and then you'll get DRS on the next straight, and you can just harvest battery. Splinter's doing alright on battery, so is Connor. I was going to speak about Quinn and Yuri. The quicker they get by Jess, they've got a nice 12-second window of clear areas. Jess is in AI. There has to be a reason for this, otherwise she will get reported to the stewards. There must be an emergency or a reason that you go into AI mode, as it's really causing Quinn some difficulty, as he's going to try and go now around the outside, as Jess now retakes control of the car. A very difficult position side by side between the two. Quinn's going to get the move done, and that was really difficult for Quinn. He's lost a huge amount of time, about 2-3 seconds, just being stuck behind Jess in AI. Yuri goes now up the inside. I think he thought about it. Yuri now gets a second penalty.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, Yuri up the inside, bit of wheel bagging. Yuri's gonna spin Jess. She keeps it facing the right direction. A little bit of frustration maybe from Yuri. He gets the move done, but has lost 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds to Quinn now, and has now got Niels and Evil Dragon both on fresh tyres, as Niels looks to make a move on Yuri. Yuri goes defensive. Niels is going to have to go around the outside, which will turn to the inside. Niels just turns in on Yuri. Bit of contact between the two of them. I don't think there's any damage on Yuri's car, but he's going to be susceptible to an overtake by Evil Dragon. Moves left, moves right. Yuri's not going to give this one up easily, and will want to get revenge on Niels after that overtake.
It's a yellow flag of Jess in the wall. Yeah, she's got a rear puncture, I think. Oh no, she hasn't. That was just the camera being a little bit silly, but yeah. So Jess really struggling. I don't know if there's obviously something wrong with the wheel or keeps going into pause, but just needs to focus on getting out of the way as much as she can. So Jake now gets past her. Just always gonna have to go right on the outside, and that is contact again for Jess's AI car. Who stops in the middle of the track. Clark is now out of the session, so he's spun at turn 2 on the exit of turn 2 again, and we have another safety car.
I think Yuri got damage.
Back into this. Did Yuri get some damage?
He must have done, because he's in the pits, and this is going to help him the most.
This will help him.
He is going to be at the back, but it's going to be on the freshest tyres of everyone, and will not need to make another pit stop. So it could be a strategic masterclass from Yuri.
As Jess has unfortunately had to come into the pits and retire for whatever reason. But yeah, this puts Yuri in a really good position on the fresh mediums. So if that pit stop is legal, which we kind of assume it is with the damage.
It is. Yuri, no. Yuri went in way before the safety car was called.
Oh, that's alright then. So that actually has helped Yuri out perfectly.
And this has helped out Quinn, Niels, Evil Dragon, and Gareth, and Jake get themselves back into this fight for the win. Connor's your race leader. So far used to being in top spot, leading races, adding up the lap counter to his tally of laps led.
Yeah, he likes being up in the top spot, doesn't he?
Now that he's sorted his connection out,
yeah,
finally see his true potential. Yeah, Quinn had a mountain to climb realistically to try and catch up to these 4 leaders. Splinter on the oldest tyres of everyone this will help Splinter, because usually you'd have to do 1 or 2 more laps on pushing on these tyres and then have to nurse the next stint essentially to the end. Now he can do these safety car laps, do 1 green flag running, and pit for mediums to the end. That's what a lot of these drivers could do if they want to be safe on strategy, but if everyone does it, then no one's going to get benefit.
Yes, indeed. So we currently have 12 runners of the 17 that did start. 18 is a waste, but he had a race ban anyway, so he was never going to complete this race, even though he was on the grid. Retirements from Cloud and Magic Poop Cannon had that incident quite early into the race, so unfortunate for both of those drivers. New Garden spawned at turn 10, I believe, into the wall, which unfortunate for him. Jess had to retire in the pit lane for whatever reason, and Clark was the cause of this safety car after spinning at turn 2 on the exit of turn 2 yet again. So unfortunate for all these drivers, but Clark was on 12 lap old tyres, so Clark's tyres may be the reason for that. But currently looking good for a potential race win is Yuri, Speedway Racer, or potentially Bill. Both have penalties, but both are on mediums that will get to the end. Yuri has 6 seconds, Bill has 9 seconds, so now it just all needs to come down to if they can build that gap, because these guys at the front, I know Connor has a 5-second penalty, but Splinter in P2 look to pit for fresher tyres pretty soon and then start hunting everybody else down. So we'll just have to see how this plays out as the safety car stays out for another lap. We are on lap 15 here in France out of 27, so this is our third safety car, I think.
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah.
We had 2 in 9. We've had 3 in 15. 2 or more left. We could have 90 more than 50% of the race on the yellow flag at this rate. But I didn't notice Bill had done 2 stops, but now you mention it, yeah, Bill's going to be a threat. However, he is going to be on tyres that are quite old because they're the same age as Jake's, but doesn't have to stop again. So it's going to be a real hard stretch for Bill to get those to the end. If I was him, I'd probably go 5 more laps and put softs on. Hope for a safety car.
Yeah, that's kind of your best option, I think, as well. A lot of the drivers, well, Yuri and Bill especially, the two that could be fighting for this win, both have large penalties, or larger than you'd want to say. So this could still go down to anyone. You could still get someone like Speed Quinn, who's on those fresher mediums, overtake a few people now, put the softs on, and then charge through the field towards the end. So this all just comes down to who is in the lead on the last corner of the last lap without any penalties.
Could be. Connor will serve that 5-second stop go in the pit lane when he comes in for his final stop. Splinter will then regain essential race lead, but here I'm sure Splinter will be in after 1 green flag running. Quinn's got to stay mindful that his battle will be a lot of the drivers behind, even though he doesn't have a penalty. Drivers ahead are going to be pitting a lot earlier than he is. They're probably going to go till about lap 18, or maybe even put mediums on a lot earlier. Quinn, Niels, Evil Dragon, maybe not Evil Dragon, maybe Evil Dragon go on mediums again. Gareth will be on softs. Jake will be on softs. Bill, if he's sensible, may pit to softs just to be fast at the end of the race. Indecisive will be on softs as well, all hunting down Yuri and Bill for this race win. Connor's turn now to... Sorry.
I was just going to say that.
Connor's turn now to lead the field across the line to restart this race. Quinn's done it twice. What can Connor do? And can he maintain the lead like Quinn has done twice before? Start-finish line is a little bit later than where the grids are. He's gone. And...
Quinn.
Oh! Quinn's in the wall and Quinn is out. Got absolutely swiped into turn 1 from cars going side by side. That should realistically be another safety car, but I don't think it will be in early on. Connor leads from Splinter. Could have been Bazza. I think it might have been Camo Babo who did that. I'm not going to point fingers. We're still unsure who was the culprit of that situation. I'm sure there'll be some argy-bargy in the chat.
I was on board with
Quinn Gareth Rand as well.
Oh, unfortunate there for Gareth, but yeah, I was on board with Quinn as that happened, and he timed the safety car restart quite well, as in he'd gone almost anticipating that the leader was gone, but he got it perfectly, so got the jump on.
Oh, he always tried to go up the inside of Bill. contact. Don't think Yuri's got any damage. Needs to keep it facing the right way and continue with his race, knowingly that the rest of the field has to make another pit stop. Splinter we should see in as Evil Dragon gets another time penalty.
Yeah, so all going off on this safety car restart. But anyway, I'll quickly finish on what happened with Quinn. So yeah, Quinn got the best restart of everyone, and then was down the inside, looking to go down the inside of whichever car. I think it was car in P4, but I can't quite remember. And then yeah, whoever was in P4 just came across and obviously unaware that he was there. So
yeah, Camo is culprit according to Quinn. I did point it out that it might have been Camo Babo. I've had my run with him in Cup Series. I'm not sure why he's racing in 2, unless he's a reserve for one or not for the other.
I mean, if he's quick enough to be in Cup, why racing Kia? But I suppose if you're
surely you can't race in both consistently as a full-time driver. Yeah, his driver awareness and racecraft needs fixing up a little bit.
Yeah, I do think that just comes with some people at different tracks as well. And so if as Evil Dragon goes into the wall, and that's him out as he was coming around the left-hander onto the straight on his soft. That's another safety car we've got. So everybody now that is pit will be basically on their way to hopefully for winning this race. So Yuri, Splinter, Camo Babo, and Niels have all made 2 stops. Also, is Bill as well. Obviously, keep forgetting him. So Connor, Bazza, Jake, and Indecisive, and Gareth will all be kicking themselves that little bit as why they didn't pit. This all just now goes down to penalties if we don't have a 5th and final safety car. This is our 4th, I believe.
What Camarabo has done to Quinn should be punishable under the stewarding, because not only is its driver awareness of you not knowing that someone's on your left when you've got proximity errors, but the fact that there's a swipe may be unintentional, but Quinn is also out the race, so that should be a punishable incident if I was in the steward's box.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, unfortunately, but for now,
it's just driver awareness. It's poor driver awareness on a safety car restart.
Camaro just has to get on with the rest of this race, see what he can do, and then the stewards will decide that one after. So currently, Splinter looking good with penalties and things. Is Bill had to avoid Jake there, just on board with Bill. Everyone's slowing right down for the safety car, and just Bill had to swerve out of the way. So not expecting the speeds, but again, that just comes down to a little bit of driver awareness, and these guys are, well, lots of them looking for the potential win, getting a bit too excited. They've all got to just calm down a little bit, keep their head in the game, and yeah, Bill knows he's net P1 at the minute, so if he can pull a gap on the likes of Yuri, Splinter, Kamababo, then he's got a good chance of winning this race.
He does, but that 9 seconds of penalties were his victim as well. He was a victim of penalties last week in Britain. Not only did he get a penalty for the safety car restart, but he had 12 on-track limit penalties. 9 so far, and currently net race leader. However, Yuri's going to have to get by Indecisive very quickly. He's got a 1-car buffer to Gareth behind, but Gareth's not going to be a slouch on those mediums. Splinter is going to be quick, and got to watch out for Camaro and Niels. Niels does only have 1 3-second time penalty to watch out for. So we could get a spicy end again. Risky.
We could, yeah. Every time I commentate, we get a spicy end, and honestly, I'm all here for it.
I noticed as well, this is back-to-back for Connor's been screwed over by safety cars, being one of the only few drivers yet to make their second and final stop. Luckily, he's already got that race win that advances him to the playoffs, because he is only on 25 points, and that only sits him in the middle of the playoffs at like 5th or 6th or even 7th.
One more lap under safety car. One more lap that we sit here trying to fill empty space. Lap 19 then. Down to 10 runners. 8 laps to go. We'll cross the line obviously lap 20, but so including this one, 8 laps to go. 7 laps of hopefully green flag running unless we have our final safety car. Because the SC we had, I think, first became a full course, so we should have another safety car slot available to us if it's needed. So 4 safety cars in 20 laps, so every 5 laps we have had a safety car, which equivalates to about half distance of yellow flag running, maybe a little bit more. So, you know, it's all fun and games here in JACKOCAR Kia Series, but once the safety car comes in, we will get back under racing, and this time Connor gets to do it once again. So Connor is our lead driver. Let's see if anybody gets a restart as good as Quinn's was, and hopefully we have no more incidents, especially not like that one, but let's see what happens between these guys. In terms of penalties, go through penalties. Connor with his 5 seconds will serve it in the pits. Bazza has 3 seconds. Jake has 3 seconds. Bill, unfortunately for him, has 9 seconds, but could still win this race. 9-second gap possible to build. Indecisive with none. Yuri has 6 seconds. Gareth, Splinter and Kamababo all without penalties, and Niels has a 3 seconds. So Niels is still in this race just as much as anyone else, as well as there is a safety car confirmation that it's in this lap.
Yuri could well be on for a podium here, if not a race win. He has to clear indecisive as quickly as possible, preferably on the restart, and then get ahead of Bill, because getting ahead of Bill is going to be crucial to keeping all the drivers behind that are going to be on the same strategy and fighting towards the front. 6 seconds of penalties is quite a margin to gap, but you're going to have at least 1 lap to do it, because everyone has to do 1 green flag running race, and if you finish, you're going to finish in the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. So as well as it being points, it's decent points as well. So
yeah,
this could help anyone and everyone. As
it could be really key for indecisive, because he's outside the playoffs and scoring points can well get him side.
Can indeed.
We're gone. We're green flag running, and I think Jake's lost out. Bill's got a great start. Gareth's ahead of Indecisive. Indecisive's been mugged off, and Splinter's lost a position to Kamababo, but just Splinter back around the outside and is going to get back ahead of Kamababo. Yuri's got a good start, got ahead of Indecisive. He's now ahead of, or side by side with Jake. Jake getting a little bit of the elbows out and not letting Yuri through as easy as Yuri goes up the inside. More contact, I think there was, mid corner. Yuri's now got Gareth to watch out for, depending on the exit onto the long straight. No DRS for 3 laps, and then that's where we're going to see more overtakes. It's all about straight line speed and using overtake. Bill got ahead of Jake. Jake's going to have a look at Bill, but crucially for Bill, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars cushioned between himself and Splinter, who's yet to make an overtake on this restart.
He has indeed. Kamababo as well, dropping behind Niels into the chicane, so not good for him as Splinter goes round the inside. Oh, around the outside of Indecisive. Indecisive collects Niels. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Niels. Nowhere Niels could go, nowhere Indecisive would go. That's a virtual safety car as Indecisive.
Optimal time to pit. If you're the leaders, they're coming towards the final couple of corners in the pit entry. This could be more of a benefit than anything, because they have a slower, they're going to have a faster pit stop compared to everyone else on track. Guess they're going to be far behind, but everyone who needs to pit should pit. So that'll be Connor, Bazza and Jake. Gareth should pit as well. Gareth does pit. Jake didn't pit. Jake needs to pit. Jake does still need to pit. Bill takes the lead of the race. Jake's in second. Yuri's on the podium, and now Splinter, having got rid of the traffic, is now on the charge and well in the best place to win this Grand Prix. Now
you just see Baz, obviously Baz coming out, he's the closest to these guys.
Bill got another penalty, so Yuri's podium chances are well there. May not get the win today.
16 second gap to the guys in front on fresh softs. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch them really, but if all the top 4, top 5 are fighting, Basler is still in this race as much as any. I just wonder what Jake's doing, staying out. As far as we're concerned, he's not on the Joker, so just wondering if he's hoping for another full course. But I think that's all our safety cars done and dusted for the time being, as it's green flag racing once again.
Yeah, Bill not off to the best restart, and Yuri could pounce on the both of them. The run towards turn 10. A lot of drivers making mistakes here. Spencer tried to move around the outside, and I believe there might have been contact between him and Indecisive that made him go spinning. Splinter, however, I don't think has got any damage, so that will benefit him, and also not having a penalty. We don't really need to fight the guys ahead. He's got the pace on Kamababo clearly, and I don't think there's going to be a threat from any of the guys that had to pit late onto the soft tyres. The only benefit for these drivers now is to try and snag that final playoff point available as Jake finally pits. Final playoff point available, which is for fastest lap. Stage points were lap 7 and lap 13. Where will Jake come? Jake should be back of the grid or towards the back, somewhere around Niels, between Niels and Gareth, because he has to do the full pit lane compared to everyone else. Baz is going to come through. Jake's just about exiting the pits. Baz should get. Connor might not jump him, but should
Connor,
do.
Yeah,
between Gareth and Niels, I was pretty much bang on.
Yep. So
Bill leads the race again.
He does, but he's got Yuri right on his tail, closing in with DRS. He's going to look for a move now into the chicane down the inside. On the brake shoes late, it's Yuri with the overspeed. They've got the move done before the corner, so now maybe Yuri pulls away. Maybe if Bill and Splinter have a bit of a fight, Yuri's 6 seconds worth of penalties will keep him on that podium. But for now, Splinter and Kawababa with the penalty potentially pending. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Let's see what these guys can do, but top 4 all well within their rights to fight as hard as possible. It's the only person that may lose out, and probably will lose out from a podium for sure, is Bill in this instance.
Yeah, based on penalties. 12 to 6. Baz has got 6 and he's 13 seconds off this pack essentially. Yuri's going to have to gain some ground. Did Bill get DRS? He did, but he's now starting to fall away. Splinter is going to have to stay put and hold back a little bit. He's going to have to wait till the end of this sector to get an opportunity to overtake. Unless Bill makes a mistake.
It's going to be not the easiest for Splinter. I think he's going to have to make the moves on track. I think if he wants
that's another penalty for Yuri. That's not going to help him.
So that's 9 seconds for Yuri.
Let's see what the gap to Connor is. No, that's the wrong thing. We want this. Gap to Connor is 18 seconds. He's got 9 seconds of penalties. So Connor only really needs to be faster than Yuri for 9 seconds in 5 laps. Can be doable. But here comes Splinter on Bill with the benefit of DRS up the inside. And later on the brakes. And now this is his best opportunity to secure a race win. The driver ahead, Yuri, has got 9 seconds worth of penalties and the gap is only 1.4. Fresher tyres are on Splinter's car. The drivers who had to take a later pit stop are way behind the field and do not look a threat at all unless there's a late safety car. It has to come out right now if there's to be any impact of a safety car and any of these soft runners getting an opportunity to score good points and even a podium.
Yeah, the likes of Connor and Gareth in the maybe last lap, if they've got the pace, will be pushing as hard as they can, because the podium's still on for these guys, because Bazza, Bill, Yuri all have large penalties. Obviously Bazza only has 6, but even still Bazza is the closest car to them, so Connor and Gareth could maybe end up fighting for their own sort of podium, like fighting between them to get a podium. But they've got to just be a little bit faster. They've got to be a little bit quicker on the pace. A second a lap might not be enough in this instance.
Will Splinter be within DRS of Yuri? It was tickering on the edge of 1 second. It's now well under. Will that be there for the DRS detection? I don't think he will be. He might be. I think he is. We'll soon find out. He is within that 1 second for the DRS detection point. We'll get the benefit of 20 kilometers per hour with the benefit of slipstream. No overtake used. He's just going to use Yuri to tow him along, pull away from the leaders as Kamababa gets by Bill. That promotes him into the podium positions, and Kamababa now is technically a threat if Yuri and Splinter start to battle for this race victory. And then Splinter might have to settle for second place for the 4th week in a row. With these
Yeah, you don't
penalties
want
you
to be doing
mentioned, I
that.
think Connor can get. Well, he's going to have to overtake Bazza quickly if he's got any chance. Bazza's low on EOS, Connor's low on EOS. Bazza takes a wild line through turn 10, but I think he's going to hold on unless Connor goes for a late lunge or just a better exit through this long right-hander. Because Connor can get within that 12-second window of Bill if Bill's tyres start to fall off even more. Connor's got to be careful for his tyre temps as well. I know the softs can overheat drastically around here. Gareth should get Jake, should get Bazza, but I don't think he'll get Bill in terms of penalties unless he can get by Jake quickly, even though Jake is on fresher tyres.
It just shows as well that penalties and warnings and track limits play such a big part in races like these. As Connor gets past Bazza into turn 1, so a nice little move there from Connor. Look to the front, and Yuri is going to be under pressure a little bit more. Splinter a little bit closer, maybe wanting to do it on track. Yuri not using his ERS. Splinter got ERS and DRS, so the full shebang. If only Rich Mix was still a thing, and Splinter might be that little bit closer. But what Splinter doesn't want to do, can't really afford to do, is get a penalty like Yuri just did there. So that's another penalty for Yuri. So podium is even more potentially on now for Connor.
Yeah. Yeah, Connor's pace is going to have to start to pick up just that little bit more. Gap's 15 seconds, but not by much. He's got to find 3 seconds in 2 laps. It is durable, but it depends if Yuri fights this. If Yuri fights this, he could lose out on a podium due to the fact that he's got so many prime time penalties. He doesn't need to get another one, because then he may even lose out of position to Bill and will definitely not get a podium compared to the penalties of Connor. Connor now on a charge. We're going to have to keep an eye on that interval. It's 15 seconds, but there is only going to be one more lap to go. Yuri's going to go defensive. Brian to break the slipstream. 1 to go here in France, and Splinter's opportunity to take race victory is on the inside of turn 1. Yuri tries to fight it side by side between the two. Splinter now gets 1 penalty. This could throw the spanner in the works for Camo Babbo to stale race victory. What's Yuri going to do into turn 4? Will Splinter try and wait for the DRS? Camo Babbo's going to get DRS on this lot as well. And Connor, if they keep fighting, could snag a podium.
As we know as well, 3-second time penalties don't get argued, don't get removed. Rubbing is racing, as we say, and we've seen in Cup Series they've been denied. So in Kia Series it's just the same. All 3 of these drivers now fighting for P1 on track. Splinter is close, but not close enough. Camo Babbo just needs to keep it clean, and Connor is on that charge still.
Yeah, 1.4 gap to find in final sector. Yuri's giving it everything down this back straight. Second little straight before the double triple right handers of the final sector. Splinter's going to go around the outside of Yuri towards turn 11. Probably not going to work because you'll get shoved out wide. If you get another penalty, you could lose out even more. Round the final couple of corners then. Splinter versus Yuri. However, neither of them are going to stand on the top step of the podium. We know full well that 3-second penalties do not get removed. Yuri's going to cross the line to win on track. Splinter's going to be fuming because he's only going to settle for yet another second place, because Camo Babbo is going to win here in France and secures his spot in the playoffs. Unless he's a reserve, then he's just stolen it away from Splinter.
Also, don't forget that penalty pending as well. Potential incident earlier. So
that was close
Camo
between
Babbo
Connor and Yuri across the
close.
line. Connor's going to get the
Camo
fastest
Babbo.
lap. Sorry, Yuri.
It's alright. It's alright. If Camo Babbo is to be penalised, don't forget that's
oh yeah,
potential Splinter win. So
yeah.
all of
Could
this
go
will
all
be
the way
decided
up to
on stewards as Indecisive crosses the line. Does a bit of weaving just to P10, so we'll be happy with that one.
He's in the playoffs now, I believe. With that strong result from Bill as well, gets him up towards the playoffs. Maybe not as close as you think. Camo Babbo driver of the day and one of our nominations, I would say. I'd give another to. I don't know. We'll see on the results. You can choose one as well if you like. I'll go Camo Babbo for my first choice.
I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm gonna have a cheeky look at the Kamababo. To be fair, 16th to first.
Yeah.
You have to respect it and give it to him. I'm gonna give it to Indecisive.
Yeah.
My drive of the day, Indecisive. P13 to P10, consistent all race. Good result for him. What can you ask for?
Yeah. And I'll go for Yuri as my final nomination, just because he didn't 100% bottle it. He's still on the podium, and his first one of the season. Gets some playoff points for that as well. And just about scraped that podium ahead of Connor, who was flying on those soft tyres. Look at that time, 1:31.5 compared to his closest rival of Niels with a 31.9. Everyone being on the mediums at the end of the race. Kamababo, if he's not reserved, would seal his fate in the playoffs. We'll soon find out. But Splinter, with pending stewards for both of them, I'd say maybe the one between him and Indecisive was inconclusive from our point of view. Could be a racing incident, but I'm sure the Kamababo and Quinn one will be watched. So we could see Splinter advance after getting 4 on-track finishes in second place.
Yes, what a exciting end to this race. Which has been the last few. Be sure to tune in next week for round 5, which is.
I did have it.
I
do have it. It's Italy.
Italy of Italy, because it's Throwback Week.
It is Throwback Week, and we've got Throwback Week next week as well. We're going to see drivers in completely different set of trim on their cars for Throwback Week and around the typical Monza. So there's the full top 10 all finished. Everyone outside the top 10 did not finish and will not score any points. That's Newgarden's 4th non-finish in a row, and will not be looking. Will be head game for the chase compared to hunting for a spot in the playoffs, with the gap ever increasing, especially with Indecisive's P10 finish. So I've been your commentator, Penalties Ireland, joined with Sully once again. It's been a fun end to the Grand Prix as always. This week in JACKOCAR we have Hungary to look forward to, and you guys enjoying Kia have Italy Throwback Week to watch out for. I'm sure there'll be some jokers, because Italy is a joker track and people have won at Monza using the joker successfully. Hopefully you can all join us for that next week. Thank you all for tuning in, and take care.